Welcome to the Divine Radiance Project with your host, Stacey Turner, and co-host, Emma McDonald, where we share all about reclaiming your radiance as women in business, holistic health, money, mindset, and juggling it all around mum life. A place for women to learn about financial independence, entrepreneurship, and balance. From women who aren't scared to speak their mind and their truth. It's time to shine your brightest self and be the lighthouse. Hello and welcome. I am very excited to be having a conversation with the beautiful Skye Williams today. Speaking about divine radiance, speaking about women in business, and I'm super excited to be sharing this incredible woman with you all because she has so much wisdom, so much knowledge to share with the world, and I just love speaking to her. I love learning from her, and so now I get to showcase and share her with you today. How are you?
Good. I've never done this before, so I was like, oh, there we go.
Welcome.
So we're here.
Welcome, you made it. Popping your Instagram live cherry, which is then also going to double up as an incredible podcast episode on the Divine Radiance Project, which is launching next Friday officially. So very excited for that.
Amazing.
Well, thank you so much for joining me. I would love to start by having you introduce a little bit about yourself so that my community can learn a little bit about who you are and what you do.
Thank you. So my name is Skye Williams. I have been on a mission for a very long time to really discover who I am at my absolute core, my most authentic self and my fullest soul expression. And in that experience, this has been since I was a teenager. And in that experience, I discovered along the way this natural gift of mentorship and coaching. So for the last 4 years, I've been coaching and supporting women to do the same, to really connect with their most authentic self, to support them to peel back those layers of the not self. I call it the not self, and support them to come home to who they truly are so that they can live a really thriving life. So that's what I do. I run mentorship programs to support women to do that.
Goosebumps. You are definitely in your true essence. I can feel it. It's so good. And so do you want to dive into a little bit more about your background? Because it's awesome knowing who you are now and what you've found as your passion and your essence and showing up as that true authentic self. But if there's any of that journey that really stands out for you about what's made you the woman you are today, that has allowed you to be this, empowered, bright, shining light. I'm sure there's lots of different ones, but are there a few moments from your life that kind of stand out as pivotal, life-changing moments?
Love this question. So there have been a few in my life. I would say that I have always had this sense that there was more to life and there was more available to me, but I felt so trapped by the stories, the limiting beliefs and stories and conditioning and patterns that had shaped me and created this identity of who I was and who I believed myself to be. When I became a mum, I have always wanted to be a mum. I was so excited about being a mum, and the romantic view that I had in my mind was it was not that experience for me when I first, had a baby. I didn't have a natural birth, which I desperately wanted. I didn't have support. My mum was sick, all those kinds of things. And so I obviously have my wonderful husband, but not a lot of community support. And then the experience of what the doctor labeled as postnatal depression, and then the journey of the only solution they offered me was medication. And there wasn't really a conversation about how I was feeling and what was going on for me, and just gave me a script. And that was a line in the sand moment for me, because I walked out of there knowing that there was something more there for me. There was layers that were bubbling up that wanted to be processed. The motherhood experience cracked me open in a different way than I had planned, that I had in my mind thought it would be. And so there started the journey. I tore up the script because I didn't want to go down that path, because I knew it wasn't going to be the solution for healing. And so there I started a healing journey of going deep within. So that was 11 years ago. My son is 11. And then I started to really, you know, find who I was and what my gifts were. And so that was the real catapult forward, because I was in a place of, you know, pain and suffering, and didn't want to feel like that, and didn't want to be, you know, a mother that was really disconnected from herself and from her child. And so it was my beautiful son that guided me into that deep opening and connection with myself. So that was a really defining moment in my journey.
Wow. Yeah. Thank you for sharing that. I mean, I think many mums, or even women that maybe haven't had babies but can relate to that to some degree, would hear that and go, okay, yes, I understand exactly what you're talking about there. And even though every person's experience is different, there are crossovers that we can connect with and relate to, right? And I appreciate you sharing that, because it can be really powerful in other people, like giving other people permission to acknowledge their discomforts or their wounds or areas that might need healing, and to not go down the kind of traditional Western medicine path and want to explore other options. And so I guess, you know, just to relate to that, it's in a different time of my life, but I did go through depression prior to my motherhood journey, and it was actually very much a line in the sand moment for me, with looking outside of the normal Western medicine way of doing things and going, what is another way? What is the healing journey here? And started working with energy healers and started working with naturopaths, and actually figuring out that it was a lot to do with my genetic makeup, with my epigenetics, and with a physiological response. That why aren't we taught this stuff, and giving us different avenues and different ways of looking at human beings, because we're not robots. It's not black and white. There's not just you have X issue wrong with you, here's a pill to fix that. And allowing us to actually look at other ways of doing these things. And I mean, being birthday twins, I think there are a lot of things that we already have parallels about. So guys, if you wanted to know, we're both 8th of February. If you ever want to buy us a gift, we're both big on our birthdays. Feel free to throw something our way. But I just think, yeah, it's so crazy how societal expectations have encouraged people to just do it the way that it's always been done and not question it. And the cool thing about what I notice in you, Skye, and why I love talking to you, and I've got lipstick on my teeth, that's wonderful, is how, yeah, you dive deeper. You go outside of the box. You look at different ways of thinking about things or doing things. And it's one of the things I really love about you, and one of the reasons that I love talking with you and getting to know you more and more. So on that note, and you shared recently in my Biz Launch Mastermind, thank you so much for your time. And that was so powerful for our team and from a mentoring perspective. And I know the women got so much out of that. So you have a true gift and a real passion for what you do. If you could package that up and explain it to people about, like, you know, what do you feel when you get to be of service in this way? Like, how does that light you up, and why do you love doing it so much?
It reminds me of when you said that, I reflect on the times where in my earlier life, where I didn't see it as a gift. The sense that I have, the gift that I have, is that, you know, I am a seer. So I can see and I can sense what's going on for somebody, you know, with what they're saying, but also what is showing up in their energy field when I'm connecting with them. And for many years, I just gave unsolicited advice to people, and it was a real problem. So it became a real challenge in relationships, because it is very clear to me. It is so clear, and I can see so clearly when someone they're actually asking kind of in a question. And so for me, it was like a natural thing to give the response. And it wasn't really welcomed for many, many years. In my maturity of my spiritual journey and my, my learning about myself, is that it's really only welcomed when somebody is in a position to be able to receive, the insights and receive. And what I recognized was it was my own ability, because everything is a reflection of ourselves. So it was my own ability to receive, so somebody's no, or somebody's lack of desire to, hear what is deeper. And so in what I do, I support people in business and in life, because I find that when entrepreneurs, where we are, it's the journey of really knowing ourselves more deeply, because we're putting ourselves out there, we're allowing ourselves to be seen and to be heard. And so the way that I support people is that I can, through conversation and hearing what is maybe symptoms or, blocks or challenges that they're having in their business or relationships or life in general or health, they can start talking to me and telling me what's happening. And then I start getting pictures and downloads about what it is that can support them to overcome that piece. And so the cool thing is that in the mentorships that I take people on, is that, they might be 3 months or 6 months, journeys, but there's an instant gratification piece that happens, because there's insight that comes fairly quickly in the journey, because the person is willing and receptive in hearing what's, what they want. They're asking the questions and they want to hear what insights are coming through. Then they can put those things into action, and then things can kind of shift quickly. And my main thing that I support people with is voice and visibility, because one of the biggest things running businesses online is this fear of being seen, and this fear of, judgment, and this fear of being ostracized from our tribe, about something that we say or do that people might not approve of. And so, working deeply at an energetic level to support people to overcome those blocks. And they can be, very deep, they can be generational, and I can see, sense and feel where that shows up to support the person to overcome that piece.
That's
So
incredible.
fully shine and be, their full radiance, and really fulfill what they're here to create in the world.
I love that. I love that so much. And in and of itself, that then allows women to be empowered to take that next step, right? You're peeling back those layers and being the mirror for them and allowing them to really step into that truest version of themselves.
Because ultimately, when you talk to people who are self-aware of their desires and their gifts, and they want to create an impact, and they want to empower themselves and empower others, that innately they have the desire to overcome it. They want to, but fear can be, these things, these patterns can really, really stop us. So innately it's a journey of naturally wanting liberation for ourselves and liberation for those around us.
Yeah, totally. When you spoke on the Biz Launch Mastermind last week, it actually really reminded me I've done my work around money blocks and I invite abundance into my life, but I'm not driven by money. And that was like just this moment. I knew it, but it was this moment of re-clarity for me when you reinforce, yourself. You are really driven by impact and helping other people. And I'm like, oh my gosh, yes. Like I'm open to the money, but it's more about what the money can do to allow you more choice, more flexibility, more freedom in life. And it's so apparent when potentially we get lost by the smoke and mirrors and the thing that we think is attracting us into something, but that's not a strong enough why, or it's not a clear enough vision to make us get up and do the thing. Like it's not the thing that gets us out of bed every day. And so when we figure out and get really clear on that thing that gets us out of bed every day, it's a lot easier to work to peel back those layers and to step up into that truest version of ourselves. So Yeah, I don't know, as I said, I love everything that you say. I'm like hanging off your every word.
Well, the
So
thing
beautiful.
not being motivated by money is that, I mean, some people are, and what I've noticed is that when if 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 we're making that an incentive for somebody or ourselves, we already know if we have like some limiting beliefs around money and there's some scarcity stuff going on, we already know that everything's fine as it is. So it's not enough of a motivator. We have to have that connection that really moves us deeply with the bigger reason. And yeah, because money is it is intangible. It's an energy that flows, and it's an exchange for, for other energy that moves through us. And so it's too intangible. It has to be something bigger and more important to us. I've found, and for everybody that I've worked with, it's very, very similar for them too, especially as women. We have to be emotionally connected to it, to the why.
Yes, definitely. And it's funny, Matty and I sat down today. We usually sit down on the first and we set our goals and intentions for the year and we plan out how we want the year to look. And he went fishing all day yesterday and the boat broke down, so he didn't get home till very late. So today we went to a cafe just now and we set our intentions and, we sat down and did all of that. And we wrote like how much we want to earn per month, how much we want to earn for the year, and put that manifestation energy out there. But now, and I think for the last couple of years, when I write those things down, it's less about the physical number of the money and more about the life that allows us to create and the core desired feelings that I get when I think about the life that I can create from that money that I would like to bring in and then bless other people with. And I think that that's, so powerful to keep coming back to, as you say, that what's more important is the actual feeling and the vision and the why. That is the thing that's going to keep people going on the hard days, on the days where we're like, oh my gosh, I don't think I can do this. Yes, you can, because that feeling is bringing you closer to your vision and to your why. So yeah, love. My next question. Oh, sorry.
Yes. No, go ahead.
I was going to say, my next question for you is, what scares you? Is there anything that you're particularly have fear around anymore, or do you feel like you've worked through them all?
No, I definitely, I definitely think it's a journey. I feel like things that I was afraid of, I now have overcome. I would say, like, I do have a fear around not fulfilling the desires that I have. Like, I actually, that actually motivates me a lot. My mum was very young when she passed away. She was only 55. And the conversations we had at the end of her life were all the things that she didn't do. And so it's the awareness that we have these moments. We have these moments to choose what we're going to do with it. And when I come to making a decision about something like doing something that, is edgy, like investing I decided at the beginning of 2023, I really liked this mentor, and then I decided to go all in and do VIP, which was it was more than I would consider investing in myself. Like, it was a worthiness thing. Can I really afford that over, can I generate the income to sustain this for the year and all that kind of thing? And so I was in fear about it. And I had many times where I had conversations with her, like, I don't know. We probably had 2 or 3 conversations after I'd had said yes, around and believing in myself this much. And so, yes, I still have, and I did it, and I had an amazing, most, incredible year, and I obviously created the income and more, to be able to do it. But I had to take that leap of faith. So sometimes it comes up around that. Sometimes it's about not fulfilling the things that I desire to experience. And I generally find that, my next level, once I overcome the fears of whatever it was at that level. Now it's the next big things of, you know, being even more visible and being even more bold with my voice so that I can impact more people. And so there is little twinges of fear that come up about the unknown, because we don't really know, you know, what's on the other side of that. So yes, I still dance with fear.
Mm. I think it can be a powerful motivator when we use it in that way. And it sounds like you are. So it's more about, what I'm hearing is it's more about the next level of growth that we can go through when we face up to that fear. And when we're aware of it, we can work with it rather than it pushing us back down into our box and not letting us expand and grow and elevate to the next level of ourselves. So, yeah.
And I think if there's anything that anyone can cultivate in an entrepreneurial, if they're on an entrepreneurial journey, if the only thing that you work on is the courage to keep moving forward, you will be set, because now it doesn't stop me. Yes, I get anxiety at times. Yes, I feel like, oh, and sometimes things take longer for me to do, but it doesn't stop me. And one of my mentor said to me, the soldiers have to have a healthy amount of fear in order to do what they're there to do. Their bodies wouldn't, you know, be alert, and they wouldn't move forward if they didn't have that biological function that was happening. And I just remember thinking, yeah, this is a biological function. And of course, we don't want to live in that state all of the time. It's not a healthy thing, but it's an experience that we can learn to really work with and dance with. And so now I feel like if I don't, you know, I don't want to be in my comfort zone. I don't want to be all comfortable. I love stretching myself. I love going, oh, this is a little bit stretchy and scary, and I'm going to do it. That's what makes my life meaningful.
Yes, definitely. We often talk about in our team, do the thing that scares you. That's where the next level of the growth of your business lies. And so then you automatically know what it is that currently scares you. And that's probably the thing to lean into or go all in with, that's going to help you to expand and get the resources and the support needed to help elevate you through that.
Support. Yeah, you have this support. You don't do it on your own. You have this support, and you encourage each other, and you cheer each other on, and you're like, oh, that, you know, I didn't die. In fact, I'm expanding and, you know, thriving from the experience. So yes, I agree.
Definitely. I love that. So are there any, I've got one more question for you, but before I ask you that one, are there any parting words or anything that's on your heart today that you really, or a download that you feel you really want to share that's important to get those words or that message out today?
If on your journey you are questioning, you know, is this all worth it? Because, you know, we come up against ourselves, we come up against our stories and our limits, and sometimes it can feel like, is this really worth it? Like, I am very open with my community that I serve, is that I went through many years of wanting to quit more times than I can count, because I didn't have the right support. I didn't have the proper support to hold me, you know, while I was going through those moments of doubt. And so the important thing is to allow yourself to be held, to be witnessed, to be seen in your community. Because sometimes when we're struggling, we go quiet, and we go off and go into witness protection, because we think we have to get through it on our own. Allow yourself, it's a vulnerability piece. It's allowing yourself to be vulnerable and to be intimate, emotionally intimate with the people in your community, and, you know, your leadership and your mentors, because it is in that experience of the vulnerability and the connection that you will have the greatest breakthroughs. Because in the crumbling and the allowing yourself to be seen in that process, you then, it can move through we can alchemize it much faster. And then we're deepening that intimacy with ourselves, which then allows us to then do that with others. And it's, you know, the way we serve, the way we create impact is by creating connection, intimacy, and vulnerability with the people around us, you know, with our community. And so I would say the invitation would be to really prioritize the connection, vulnerability, and intimacy, emotional intimacy with your mentors, and allow and be real about what's happening for you. Because if you want breakthroughs, if you want to create great impact, these are the foundational pieces in order for you to do that. And when you can do that, like, it's just it's like 10x. It just amplifies very, very fast when you can do that. So that's my thing that I'm most passionate about at the moment.
Wow. That is incredible. I love that so much. Yeah. Okay, cool. All right. So final question, without thinking about it too much. If money and time and energy were not a thing, what would you be doing? What could you do? What would be your thing?
I've loved these questions. I would. So the two things that are on my heart at the moment is that I have this philanthropic desire to be able to serve at a higher level for people who really, like, I want to support and educate women who've left domestic violent relationships, to empower them to break the chains, to break the cycles within their family, you know, for their children. And so to do that, I need, like, I've planned everything out for a foundation that I want to create that involves that. It's not something that I've experienced myself, but I've supported people to, you know, who've left those kinds of relationships, and I can see the family patterns. So I would be creating a foundation, and I would also be traveling to places in the world that I feel very connected to, and it's like I need to be there physically to be able to connect, you know, whether it's to do live events or whatever it is. But I would love to have the freedom to physically go to these other places. So that's what I would be doing if money, time, and resources were unlimited.
Amazing. I've got full body yeses happening, all the tingles. I'm loving it. I love what you're sharing. Okay, cool. Well, I mean, just want to say thank you so much for your time and your wisdom. And I know that the people listening to this will get so much out of it. Those that are listening on the podcast and not on Instagram, can you please share your handle or your Facebook or your website, somewhere where you would like people to find you if they're hearing this on the podcast?
So it would be good if they were the same, but they're not. My Instagram is at Skye Jade Collective. So Jade, Skye Jade Collective. My Facebook is Skye J, the letter J, Williams. And so
beautiful.
Both of those places you can find me, and then we can connect.
Amazing. Thank you so much for your time, and enjoy the rest of your day. And thanks everybody for tuning in, and we'll speak to you again soon.
Thanks, Stace. That was fun. Have an awesome day.
Thanks, lovely. Bye. And that's a wrap for today's episode. Listen, if you love what you heard here today, I would love for you to leave a super quick rating and a review. This helps the show get discovered by new people that need to hear what we have to share. Be sure to take a screenshot of today's episode and shout us out on Instagram, and we will shout you right back. You can find us on Instagram handles It's Stacey Turner and the.emma.mcdonald. If you'd like to find additional resources or work with either of us, then DM us on one of these handles today.